There's a fish. Figured I'd stop at the boat launch and give it a try. Actually snapped off on that jig earlier. I put on a Coppertruese TRD. Got one so far. There's like a hurricane out here today. There's like 17-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I figured something slow and low on the ground would get them to bite. Sure enough, it did. Thanks for the fight, bud. Oh, just had another bite right there. And for those of you who don't know, coming up at the end of November here, so it's cold water, which means something as little to no movement actually works really well. What the heck? Something out there keeps playing with it. I don't know. Let's try down here. Thought that duck was gonna fly into my line there. All right, since this wind is kind of crazy, especially down here at the boat launch, I'm gonna try a spot up here that's kind of a little bit more sheltered from the wind. It seems like the smallers are gonna be biting today, so I don't want to pass up this spot. There's a fish right behind that rock. Little squeaker. Come on, bud. Little guy, but still catching them in these hurricane conditions out here. Thanks for the fight, bud. Where are you going? There you go. I don't know if you guys can see that little break in the water there. Actually a big boulder there, and I casted right behind it, and there he was. I thought this area would be a little more sheltered from the wind, but still getting hit pretty hard here. There we go. Surprisingly, this wind is not affecting the bite. Usually it does. Don't go in the tree. This is a good one. Nice Ned Jig smallie there. Just casting it out there, letting the current bump it off the bottom. Using this on a 1/10 ounce Ned Jig head, so very light. There we go. That's a nice one. My little standing area keeps getting pushed back farther and farther because the river keeps coming up just a little bit more each day. Is that another one? Yeah, it is. Another decent one. That very well could be why these bass are biting too, because the river coming up. Finally getting out of that shallow water and slowly rising up, but there we go. Along with the water rising up a little bit and the water probably cooling off a little bit more and more, it's probably definitely getting them into that fall feeding mode. Other one, oh, he popped off. That was almost 3 back to back right there. There we go. Double tapped it. Doesn't feel big because he isn't. Oop. You find yourself back. You got this. There he goes. Oh my gosh, that one hammered it. This one was angry. He wasn't very far off the bank here either. Definitely seemed a lot bigger when he hit it. Yep, another one very close to the bank. Yeah, I've said this before in my earlier videos. Let this guy go, then we'll talk about it. But one thing I like to do when I'm fishing an area is, instead of casting in the same exact spot, I kind of break it up like a pie. So I'll cast up that way, I'll cast straight out from me, and then break it down more and more that way. You're utilizing the whole area, because you just never know where these fish are going to be, especially when you're along the river. There's so much water to cover. It's best to just, like I said, stand in one area and just make different casts in different directions. Because even though I was standing right down there, I was casting up. Now that I'm here, I'm casting down, so I'm kind of hitting the same area in a different direction, so to speak. But as you can see, it works for me. Helps me catch more fish. That way I'm not overfishing stuff. Jeez, another nice one. Is he hooked weird? What happened there? That was weird. He just completely gave up right there. Now he came back to it. There goes somebody's flip-flop down the river. I don't know if my line got wrapped around him and kind of paralyzed him or what, but he was not moving. Thanks for the odd fight, bud. So I'm bombing my cast out there as far as I can, but these past couple of bites have been like 10-15 feet off the bank here. I'm really curious to see if we can get another fish in the same area. It's been like 2 or 3 days in a row catching one here. Still throwing around the Coppertruese TRD here. And as you can tell, the wind is still ripping, so we'll see if the fish are still gonna bite, which they should be, but you never know. Sometimes the elements can definitely shut the fishing off. I said, I think the biggest thing working on our behalf here is definitely the water coming up a little bit. I mean, as long as I've lived by the river and been fishing it, seems like no matter what month it is, if the river's coming up, the fish are moving. I think it just goes hand in hand with all the bait that's being moved around. What the heck? Tree branch just fell out of the tree. Glad I wasn't a couple seconds sooner. That would have hurt. Good Lord's always looking out for us. Oh, I just had a bite right there. Came back for it. Got him. Missed him, moved it a little bit, and I stopped it again. Scooped it up. First time I didn't get a hook in him, but I definitely felt something hit it. All right, Coppertruese TRD still producing, even on windy days. There we go. Another one. Feels like a better one. He's putting up a heck of a fight. Now he's running right at me. Man, just pound for pound, the fight of these river smallies is something else, I'll tell you that. What the heck? I have him hooked on top of the nose. That's so weird. That's why it pays to have sharp hooks. There we go, another one. That's probably why he felt so big. Just an odd hook placement. Well, for the end of November and bank fishing, I have no complaints of the catches we've been getting. And I do know from fishing all year round, come wintertime, it's definitely gonna slow down. So I'm very thankful that we're getting multiple catches now. Because here soon in the next month or two, we'll still be able to catch them. And they're gonna be big ones too. But the bites are far and few between. I think I have a leaf or something on my lure. I do. I couldn't feel it ticking off the bottom. Let's try that cast again. There's a fish. Didn't even feel it hit the bottom. Glad I remade that cast. That's a good one. Better one. Scar on the side there. All right, thank you. Gonna put a fresh plastic on. The last one is pretty tore up. But leave it in the comments below. What color TRD should I get next? I haven't got the full big deal color, so I might try that. But if you guys are open to suggesting a color, like I said, leave it in the comments. I'll definitely give it a try. There we go. Thanks for the fight, little guy. There we go. I was looking up at the jet, got smacked. That's a nice one. It's a little butterball there. Sweet, not a bad one. And that little TRD. Thanks, bud. And for those of you that want to know my setup I'm using, my BFS setup, this is a Bull Bay rods. This is the Banshee medium light extra fast 7 foot. I have it paired with the TSURINOYA Genius. This is a, I believe it's an 8:0:1 gear ratio or 8:3:1, but I like the higher gear ratios. That way I can pick up more line if I need it. And I have my reel rigged up with 10-pound Power Pro braid. Then I use Seaguar Red Label. This is actually a 10-pound test, so I vary between 8 and 10 pound for a leader. I like my leader to start just above the reel here. That way when I do reel it into cast, it does go on the spool a little bit, but also whenever you're retying, you don't always have to retie leaders on, so I like the longer leader. And in my area, the water's crystal clear, so if they can't see your braid, that's always a good thing. That's the setup I'm using. All right guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I'm gonna get out of this wind to get my hands warmed up and get some food in me. But I'll definitely be back out here soon. Hopefully catching some bigger smallies. At least we're catching something. Like I said, for November, I have no complaints at all. Been very productive. Healthy smallies are speeding up. But until the next video, you guys stay fishing, stay anchored, and I'll see you soon. God bless you.